we as young people, how can we identify areas of making investments?
Well, I would say that, okay, when you look at the history of man, you say that we have had epochs, stages of development, because we started as gatherers. When we just go to the forest,
And gather.
hunters and gatherers.
You
You go to the forest with arrows, and then you find some fruits to eat. You shoot something, you come and eat. Then, of course, we went into the agrarian stage, where there was more of farming now, and people began to do farming. They would farm to eat. And then whatever excess they had, probably it was processed, stored, and some of it was sold, and then people would buy different things that they did not need or they did not have. Then we came into the industrial stage, where there was development of industries, and big factories where now the processing of iron and other equipment came in. This is why we see a lot of big equipment. We have steel, etc. Now we are told we are in the fourth stage, where we are talking about information stage, where a lot of investments are in communication.
Yes.
Where a lot of people don't want to do farming. They now want to know where the food is, and they want to connect the one who has and the one who does not have.
Yes.
And then they make money along the way. And when you look at, for example, the service industry in general, like insurance, banking, communication, and all that, there is very little of input other than equipment that people need. And a lot of those things are not tangible. Generally, they're intangible. Like now, what is Safaricom selling to us? Have you ever touched anything Safaricom sells to you? And you pay for it.
Hot air.
They sell to you air, and they call it bundles. They sell to you a means of communicating, and they are just using airwaves. See? But there's nothing really.
Yes.
When you are told for you to store data, you need to store it in a cloud, so you buy space in cloud. Which cloud is this? Where is it located?
Nimbus clouds, cumulus clouds.
I mean, which Jew? How far? We don't understand these things.
Yes.
They are simply intangibles. So you realize again we are in a different level. So when you look at areas that people can invest, I would say there's a bit of advancement and restrictions. As we advance technologically, you find a lot of restrictions. All the costs. Like now, one time, let me digress a little bit. One time I attended a conference in Nairobi that was organized by I'm forgetting this, by this United Nations Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO. And the topic was, how can the third world countries industrialize and reach and catch up with the first world countries? Because they go to the first world by industrialization. And I remember one Indian, a professor in the university, I can't remember his name, but he said, you see, the problem that the third world has, or the third world economies have, is that they are not able to access technology. And you see, technology is just IP. IP is intellectual property. Otherwise, we can buy the equipment, but in terms of how to operate, the software to operate those equipment, that is what the developers deny us. So the third world is still struggling to get to that level. Like now, I saw the other day in the TV, I think it's last Sunday, that a place in Galilee in Israel, they are using technology to even know which trees are infected by weevils and all that. They even know when they are farming how much water is getting into the soil. They are able even to measure the humidity.
Oh.
But now, here in Kenya, we have so much water compared to them. But the technology to apply to our farms, we are not able to apply that. So you see, we suffer because we do not have the IP or the technology, the access, so that we can apply the same to our areas. So this is what I'm trying to say, that young people, for example, in our country today, they might find it difficult to get started in some of the areas. But it's because there are restrictions. Or it is difficult to get into. Or the technology required is expensive. Or etc. But there are some areas where the entry is easier. For example, if a young man has a father who has a piece of land, even if it's 1 acre, and you start with 20 chicks, within a short time, there will be 20 chicken, and you can sell. And you can get some little money to buy more and keep the sequence. Problem by the end of the year, if you are buying chicks every month, you would have 12 rods. And in those 12 rods, you might make 5,000 in every rod. At the end of the year, you have 60,000.
Okay.
From chicks.
I think we need to sit down and do some mathematics.
Now, the other bit,
Yes.
if you are to think of money in trees,
Yes.
like I keep thinking, if I were younger today, and anyway, I'm still young,
Yes.
whatever little land I have,
Yeah.
I tend to think I should plant trees. Why? Because when you plant a tree, it will not give you headache. If, for example, you plant fruit trees, you are sure that every season you are harvesting.
The harvest kit.
It is money from the trees, literally, right? Now, even if you plant 10 trees that are not fruits,
Yes.
you are sure that within a short time, you can go and cut those trees and sell.
Oh.
One tree that I love and I'll plant in a big way is something like eucalyptus.
Eucalyptus.
You know eucalyptus, for example,
It's not a fruit tree, yeah?
it's not a fruit tree,
Yes.
but people are looking for timber nowadays.
Yes.
And that's where they are getting timber from. If you plant the fast growing eucalyptus from South Africa,
Yeah.
it will mature in 4 or 5 years.
Oh.
Meaning that if you plant if you have an acre, you can do 400 trees. Have an acre.
Oh.
400 trees in 5 years, and you do nothing to that tree as long as it is growing. You can sell that tree maybe at 3,000 shillings on the lower end.
Oh.
3,000,
Times 5.
and you
400.
planted 600. So how much is that?
Around 1.8.
Probably something like that.
Yes.
So even if you wanted now to go to another business after 5 years,
It becomes possible.
you have capital.
Na ni njia ya kuficha pesa.
Na unaficha huko.
Committee.
What I realize is that all the people that are rich,
Yes.
they have got land. Most of them, they
Yeah.
buy land.
Yeah.
Land is expensive.
Yes.
But they also plant trees. Some of them keep cows.
It's some wisdom, huh?
Because if you had
I'm getting
30,000
something now.
and you bought a cow and you have a place to keep it,
Mm.
if you feed it over time with the struggles and all that, and it calves, you have some little milk. Do you know a cow can actually take care of itself? If you take care of it, it can take care of itself and leave you with some little money.
Very true.
So there are some areas where there is little limitation, and you can enter into some of those businesses. If today you borrow 1,000 shillings, you can go and buy in Gekomba 5 shirts.
Or 5 jeans, mutumbas.
Or jeans, mitumbas. And you come and display them. And from every jean, if you bought at 200, you can sell at 500 or 400. You make 100% profit. Let me give you my example. My wife and I, we got a shop in Komarok, Sector 2. And when we got that shop, we used to sell cereals by distributing, taking to people. yeah, within the estate.
Uh-huh.
So we would carry those cereals. So he said, we are getting very tired. Why don't we get a place where we can just store the cereals and people can come and buy? So we got a man who was crossing a shop and we took it.
Wow.
And because he owed us some money, around 4,000, we said that was the
Capital.
no, that was the what do you call it?
Rent.
The rent.
Yes.
And he told us, don't worry, as you sell, you are going to pay rent, the 1 month deposit.
Oh.
So he was very gracious to us.
Yeah.
So we started. And then over time, we kept on adding some
Stock.
capital. Some capital. And we were struggling really.
Wow.
That time I remember I was jobless, so I would spend most of the time there. Sometimes when I had something to do in town, I would cross, go, and ensure that I've come early, and back early, and go and open.
Wow.
Because I need to open.
This life requires a lot of commitment.
Yes.
In fact, we then built a small area where we do grocers, green grocery. So we opened like a small green grocery, and I would go and buy waru, potatoes, sukuma wiki, those vegetables, ripe bananas, etc. etc. Like now, I would walk in Gekomba very early in the morning at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Because that's when we go to the market.
Uh-huh.
In Marigiti, people used to know me. I would even get credit. I would go and get Waru one debe, and there's a lady that I got familiar with, and she would give me another extra.
Ulipe
To,
ukiuza
go,
utalipa.
to pay back when I go
sell.
to, after selling. Over time, from a very small capital of less than 10,000, we got to about 700,000
Wow.
worth of capital.
I like that.
And
growth.
for 7 years that we ran that shop, we were able to take my sisters-in-law through college, 2 of them. My children never lacked food.
Uh-huh.
The bread that is not sold, and we don't need to keep it to the following day, I would carry home, so they would have breakfast.
Nakuliwa kwa nyumba.
The sukuma wiki that was not bought, that's what we eat.
Oh.
So we were comfortable. I was able to take care of my children.
Wow.
And we did that with my wife over time.
I
And
like-
whenever I got some little money, I would add to stock.
I like that knowledge, the price of investing.
Yes.
Many people don't understand the price of money market investments. Are they for the big boys, the big people?
Well, investment options are very many. Like now, a small shop is an investment. And I've seen a lot of people starting small shops, and then they grow big. As long as you are plowing back and you are meticulous, you are there, you are doing it, somehow people develop confidence, and as more people come to buy, you build your stock. Now, there are complicated areas also of investment where the rules are difficult. This is why I was talking about limitations.
Yes.
Some areas are limited. You also find cartels. Yeah. Today, if you think you can go and sell, okay, you go to your home, you farm, you get a lot of potatoes, for example. Or you go to Geshagi and tell people, I know where we can sell potatoes. And you get a big lorry and take it to Gikomba. There are cartels there.
Yeah, all over.
You may not even sell
Yes.
unless they allow you to sell. And you see what they do, because they are brokers, and because they have control of the market, and because they are familiar with the people who buy. Okay, who break the potatoes from a sack to Ndebe, and they have networks there. You cannot get that range of Ndebe because they buy from the broker.
Okay.
So now the broker is buying from you, and they determine the price. So if you are not in tune with the broker, you cannot sell that waru. And if you sell at a loss. So you have to understand how every sector works.
Yes.
Right? So you need to go there, probably become a broker like them, and get to know how they do it.
Okay.
Because before you understand that market, you make a loss.
Wow.
Now, when you talk about money markets, that is even more complicated.
Okay.
Because there's a stock exchange. That stock exchange is like Marigiti, the normal market where you are selling physical things. But now, at the stock exchange, you are selling shares. Things that you don't see.
Hot air.
Yeah, things that you don't see.
Yeah.
You are told that this company has got 1 million shares, and their worth today is 3 shillings per share. If they do some funny things, the share goes down, the value goes down.
Yes.
So if you are holding 1,000, you lose.
So the safe investment areas without where there is minimal risk, maybe a youth may want to invest in.
Again, you need more money in the stock exchange so that you can buy reasonable amount of shares to be able to make reasonable amount of money. Because you might find that by selling one share, you bought a share at 2 shillings and 30 cents. If you want to sell tomorrow to make money, if it has increased in value, you are selling it at 2 shillings and 50 cents. You're only making
20 cents.
20 cents per share. Now, if you had 1,000, how much money is that?
That is 200, is it?
20 shillings.
20 shillings. eh?
Now, what is 20 shillings for you?
So you need more capital.
So you need a lot of money,
Right.
and you need to understand the business there and the rules and other politics that go on in that place. This is why I don't want to use some bad word, but I think Warren Buffett said that the stock market is for fools
Okay.
who do not know how to invest. Actually,
So where do the wise men invest?
In trees.
now the wise sometimes they go and float their shares there for the fools to buy.
Okay.
You get that? The wise will buy a company that is dying, turn it around into profitability, sell the shares to the fools, and they make money.
Okay.
Are we together?
God help us to be wise, man.
So the stock exchange is not easy. It's not for the boys.
Wow.
It is for those that have real good money and they understand their politics.
The big boys.
The big boys.
Because of time, can we ask just a few questions, then we conclude? And I want to ask a very important question that maybe many young people may want to hear from. A saving culture.
Yes.
One, how do we help our young people to have the discipline of savings? Because it's a big problem. Two, someone saying that we need to save in an opaque
Bag.
opaque bag.
That's what Apostle says.
That's Apostle says, in an opaque bag,
Yes, where you can't see the money inside.
where we can't see the money.
Yes.
Where are those opaque areas? How can we develop the discipline of savings or the culture of savings? And also, where are the opaque areas?
Yes.
Where do we save our money?
All right.
Yes.
Again, that is also a very interesting topic about savings. And because you are talking about money, probably it's good to touch on it.
Yes.
I would say at any given time in life, there is possibility that you handle money, even when you are young. So
That's why we have home banks. Yeah,
our total. So this is why even the banks, sometimes they create options and opportunities even for the young people, the children, to save money. It's not necessarily their money, but you see, as parents, as we bring up children, we also want to encourage them. We give them some little money and we want to see what they want to do with it. Either they want to go and spend it, but at that time you begin to teach them how to save.
Oh.
And we have tried as parents. Sometimes they pick it, sometimes they don't. Again, depending on the status that you are in as a parent,
Yes.
you may not have a lot of money to save because sometimes you are really struggling. And I know there are some people out there struggling. But I keep thinking, even with that little that there is, people should be able to save, however little.
Lakini haitoshi elder.
Money will never be enough. Like we said, because people are chasing after it,
Yes.
and sometimes they want money to meet their wants other than their needs. So it's a choice. We call it an economic opportunity between spending the money now and saving it for tomorrow or for a specific thing
Yes.
that you want to do. Because today, if you give me 100 million, I can tell you it will not be
Enough.
much.
It's not be enough.
It will not even be
But
enough.
tomorrow you won't be having it.
Because I have a project that is waiting that requires about 4 billion,
Oh,
right? As we sit here,
all right.
4 billion.
Yeah.
So when you give me 100 million,
Yeah.
you think
It's a
that
drop of
it's a
what?
lot of money, but it's not. Now,
Yes.
but if I got 10,000 today, I will forego a certain amount of money to do something that requires some little money,
Uh-huh.
which could be a saving. And that's how we are supposed to look at money. So there's no little money and there's no
Much
much
money.
money.
Yeah.
All money has value for now.
So you're saying that if I have 1,000 and my needs are past 1,000, so I should still find something to save from 1,000.
Absolutely. That's a principle I'm trying to inculcate.
Uh-huh.
So that is the culture or the principle I want to inculcate. That you can save money even when you have retro and the needs are still there. Yes.
Wow.
So if we are able to pick that, then you just look for a place where you save that money,
Uh-huh.
where you will not access it easily.
They'll pick.
The opaque thing now. Or, and some people now have got different opaques. Some people will take it to the bank. Some people open bank accounts where
Fixed
you are
accounts.
restricted from accessing it when you want or as you want. So like 3 months, we used to have accounts where you could not access money for 6 months. There are circles that will not allow you to access money until maybe you have saved for 1 year. So there are all those instruments everywhere. Others put it in insurance policies. Because the moment you take a policy, you wait for it to mature. And probably as it matures, it is creating interest for you,
Wow.
etc. Me, myself, I found a way of saving money. I would actually buy land. Yes.
Unaficha pesa.
I'll just put it in the soil.
Yes.
So I would get some little money. I'm buying a piece of land somewhere. So I would put money there.
Okay.
At some point, I would take a loan. Like when I'm at a regular job, I would take a loan to buy land. I know land will appreciate.
Yes.
So I'll take that loan. And I know because I must repay the loan, then that is my saving mechanism.
Oh.
Because there will be demand to repay the loan.
Yes.
Or nowadays, what I also do, I start a project. And because I know that project ought to be completed, whatever little I get, I ensure that I put some little into that project. So right now, I've got 1 or 2 projects that are ongoing. When I don't have the money, I stop.
Okay.
When I get some little money, I push.
Kanaenda.
You know? But just to take you to the principle of saving, Joseph saved the entire world of his day by pushing the Egyptians to save 20% of whatever they got from their farms. And in 7 years, he was able to save enough that was able to save the generation for another 7 bad years.
Oh.
So you can see 20% looks little, as Apostle indicates in his book, Money Matters, but it's a lot. So if you get a discipline where you are saving at least 20%, that is a good way.
Okay.
But do not forget also to give to God. Because when you save for yourself and you have also not given to God, then you are missing it. Because whatever you have comes from God.
Yes.
So I would say 10% is the bare minimum, the one we call tithe. And I don't want to go into the debates of tithe because it is there, it works, it's good. It reminds us that everything we have comes from God, even the money that we get. And also God has work to be done, which must be supported. But I would say, give to God and go beyond the 10%. Yeah, go beyond the 10%. Because we should give to God even 100%. After all, even what we are trying to save,
Yes.
it is his. Even as we are his.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, that's what works.
Wow.
So let the young people save whatever they find, whatever little they have. And when now they get into regular income, let them do it on a regular basis.
Kelda, that's a good insight. That's a good wisdom. On now we need to save in the opaque areas.
Yes.
If you save in your personal account, that's a transparent price. You still withdraw that money.
Yes.
Somebody was asking me why educated people don't have money. You're educated, but you don't have money. You can answer that. Then you talk about this book, maybe. Then Gideon now will be giving us the...
Who's in educated people don't have money?
I don't know. That's the person who told me about that. I don't know whether it's a true narrative or
No, I think
some.
it's not true.
I also saw a book that was written why people were educated and broke.
Yes. Kiyosaki is also quoted as saying that the A student work for the C student. To say that most of the educated people are they fit more in employment than in business. But the C students, they tend to start business. So they employ the A to work for them.
To do business for them, to do the accounts.
To do the accounts, to do the marketing,
Yes.
to do the technology for them. And it happens. It happens because most of the A students, they go for salaries. But generally, you don't make wealth in salaries because employers don't give you enough money to make wealth. They don't. They actually pay you to stay in their employment, to just keep you.
Yes.
That is what Kiyosaki talks about.
That's what Kiyosaki talks about.
OPO, other people's OPE, other people's energy.
Yes. So this is why you find the person, those who are educated, sometimes they run the rat race because they are running from one pay slip to another. And it's not enough because they are also trying to live another different life of their peers. If you're working, okay, let me tell you what we were told when I was working in the bank. I was told that you need to dress in a suit and a tie, and you must look smart, and live in a secure place, preferably an affluent environment. Now, that place requires higher rent. You need to drive, right? And probably you need to take a mortgage to get a house in that kind of an area. And we were not supposed to do business because we were told if you are doing business, probably you are likely to do business with your customers. And therefore, if there is a problem there, it will come to your office. Literally, were we told that if you want to become wealthy, you need to start a business. Because it is when you start business, when you begin to make wealth, actually you begin to earn income. And the people who start business are the C and the D's. So they make money. The A, and
they manage.
They are feeling good out there.
With a tie.
Yeah, with a tie and
Right.
looking nice.
Right.
And going for conferences and all that. And then when it comes now to investment, the A, they appear like they earn a lot, but they also spend a lot. The business people, usually they are very conscious on how they spend money.
Yes.
They are very, very careful
Sure.
because they want to see the perpetuity and the growth of their business. So instead of going to eat in an expensive hotel, they will go to
Kibadaski.
a Kibadaski, whatever you call it, and eat. And they're eating the same food, and
Yes.
probably even better food. So a guy spends 5,000 in a big hotel, 5-star, but this guy ate 200 in a different place.
Shillings.
Yes.
So who has saved more? That particular lunch.
The one that is eaten the 100 shillings.
This is the point. So this is why I would advise people, as much as you are able to run your own business,
Yes.
that is the way to go.
Do business.
Do
Yes.
business.
Alright.
Business gives you money
And opportunity to grow.
and opportunity to grow that
make
money.
wealth.
And as you grow that money, you make wealth. And you see, God blesses businesses.
Uh-huh.
He blesses the work. This is why Solomon became one of the richest guys.
He was a businessman.
He was a businessman. He
Yes.
had sheep that
Transport.
would go for 3 years
Yes.
all over the world. And when the sheep come, they would come with a lot of
Returns.
wealth.
Mm.
Abraham was also very rich. What did he do? He kept livestock.
Oh.
Isaac was a farmer. And he also grew crops. And he became wealthy. So if you are producing, you can be sure you make wealth.
Wow.
But if you are just paid,
Yeah.
you rarely make wealth.
Okay.
Unless you steal.
I like that wisdom.
That's very true.
I like that wisdom.
Very true.
Wow.
Wow, guys, we cannot exhaust this topic on money, investment, and generally everything to do with how you become rich and wealthy. And we can take a whole year.
Tell me about it.
Yes. Right here, Elder, I think we were to give you a chance to say something about this book, and then we close
Okay.
for this time.
All right.
Yes.
I want to say thank you very much for allowing me to come to this show.
Wow.
And we can't finish this show without talking about a book called Money Matters. This book is written by our apostle in this church, Apostle Patrick Mureithi Nyaga, and it is a very good book. It talks about money and probably some of the things that it talks about. And I've read this book myself. It is very good. The spiritual dimension of money. The other day I listened to a rabbi, a Jew who lives in Australia, and he was talking about money being spiritual.
Oh.
Money is very spiritual. Sometimes we treat it casually. Probably I'll need another show to talk about the spirituality of money. Yeah, it's very spiritual.
Wow.
I don't want to preempt. Of course, about giving, how to have financial integrity, the wisdom of saving, like we have just talked, and investing, and how we can serve God with money.
Money.
So there's a lot. In fact, I've just skipped a couple of topics. So this book costs 1,000 shillings. It will be good for you to get a copy wherever you are. You can get it from online, or you can order from us, and we'll be happy to send you the book.
Wow.
So thank you very much.
Through that number.
Yeah,
Number.
Yes.
through the number that's appearing on the screen.
Yes.
So thank you very much. God bless you.
And
Thank you very much, Elder, for gracing this show with your presence and giving us wisdom on how to make money as youths and the attitude we need to have. And you out there who has been watching, I hope and pray that you come out of this with wisdom and take action. I believe there's so much that we've talked about that you can take action on and succeed out there. Youths in Kenya, you can. It is good for you to understand that, one, your attitude towards work is very important. Number two, you can start from anywhere. Number three, don't hope to get employed. Start something. You can make it. Ama ni aje, Jose?
kapisa. Hapo kapisa.
Yes. So we've come to the end of this show.
We would like to invite you to our Apostolic Prophetic Conference on 11th to 13th of August 2023. Ministering will be our very own Apostle Patrick Mureithi, Pastor Paul Mwaniki from GCC Zion International Nanyuki, Bishop Patrick Karaoke from GGV Meru, and Apostle Juma from Life Church International. Come, let us hear the seasoned word from his prepared vessel. Shalom.